Welcome to Dahod Garden.
We are making paneer today, which is fresh Indian cooking cheese. It's very popular and one of the straightforward things to make. It basically needs two main ingredients. The first one is milk. Make sure it has a heavy fat content, and the other is lemon juice. You could use other acidic substance like vinegar or lime juice. The first step in the process is to take a large enough pan or a pot, preferably heavy bottom, so that the milk doesn't stick at the bottom, and we have to bring the milk to boil. We are making plain paneer today, but you can make it more interesting. You can season it with some spices or add other flavors. You can add in nuts or fruits in it, maybe a raspberry or a strawberry puree. It all depends on what you intend to do with it. If you are going to make some sort of an Indian dish out of it, then spice it up. If you're going to use it in some dessert, then add some fruit or nut flavor to it. Make sure you stir occasionally so that the milk doesn't stick at the bottom. While the milk is boiling, we are going to prepare for the next step. So I'm going to take a colander and line it up with a cheesecloth. And what we are going to do is put everything together in a sink. Actually, we are going to take the cheese line colander and put it on top of another pot. The reason we do this is we are going to save the whey for some other use later on. Okay, the milk has come to boil, so we are going to go ahead and start adding our lemon juice a little at a time until we see curds forming. Actually, you may want to reduce the heat at this point and keep adding lemon juice until the milk starts to curdle and you see curds forming. What you really want in the end is the way to completely separate from the curds, and at that point we would know that the process has started. As you can see now that the whey has formed and completely separated, and that's the reason you may want to add lemon juice a little at a time so that you don't end up overusing it and you use what you need. Okay, so the whey has completely separated. You may want to add a little bit of salt here to balance the acidity from the lemon juice. Let this stand for about 5 to 10 minutes so that the process is completed. This concludes the second step. Okay, the next step is to drain the whey and collect all the cheese curd in the cheesecloth, and we do that with our colander system that we set up before. Okay, so step four, we have completely strained the curds. Now all we have to do is run some cold water through these curds to make sure that we drain off all the lemon juice, and also it stops the curdling process and will bring down the temperature. Okay, I wrung out all the liquid. Now we have a nice glob of curds. So what we need to do now next is to make sure all these curds come together and form a nice sort of a solid mass. So to do that, we'll have to do one more step. Alright, so in this step, we need to apply some pressure to squeeze out whatever moisture is left, and also to make sure that the curds come together to form a nice, smooth aggregate of a cheese mass. So I've set up this contraption. Now you can use other setup, whatever works for you. Basically, what I have is my cast iron griddle, which is applying the pressure on the cheese cloth, which has my cheese curds. So I'm going to let this stand for about a couple of hours, and then it should give me a nice yet sort of a spongy mass of cheese.
All right, the moment of truth. Let's see how it turned out. As you can see, our paneer is nice, flat, solid, and spongy, but at the same time, it doesn't crumble apart. So this is the end product. What we are going to do is make a few cubes out of it because we are going to make a mutter or piece paneer for dinner tonight. Alright, I cubed up the paneer with a knife. As you can see, these are decent sized cubes. Let's look at it. Again, nice and soft, and it doesn't crumble apart. And if you don't want to use them when you make it, you can even freeze it, but we are going to use it up tonight for our mutton paneer, as I said. So that's it. That's the whole process. It's not that difficult to make, and this is the darling or delight of vegetarians in India. So there you have it. Thanks for joining us.